Hey, what's up? Scott back with you, and in this video I'm going to be talking about EQs or equalizers or the process of equalization. And this is a tremendously important topic when it comes to mixing, and in fact it is just a crucial tool in our bag of tricks for audio engineering, for mixing engineering, for producing a great track. Because EQing really, when done well, can be the difference between something that sounds really amateur or just doesn't sound great to something that's radio ready and sounds professional and is just a fantastic track and a fantastic mix. Is how you apply EQ. So what I wanted to do is first just show you what an EQ is and go over the parts of an EQ, because I think it's important to truly understand what an EQ does. So the first note I'll make here is when you're going down to EQ something, or you're opening up your digital audio workstation, no matter what it is, I think this can help you, because EQs are EQs no matter what program you're using. I will say too, if you're just starting out, do not feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of EQs, or that there's some special EQ plugin that you need. Your factory default, your plugin that is included standard with your DAW is enough. I firmly believe that. Now, of course, there are different kinds of EQs, and perhaps some people would argue with me, well, there's better sound you can get out of this specific EQ, or this EQ works better. That's fine, but I really think that everything you need to do to a song, or might need to do, can be accomplished with your standard plugins that are included with your DAW. So that said, let's look at this EQ here. So the first thing you'll notice is that it's got numbers, and these are the different frequencies, and it goes from 20 to 20K, and it's hertz, which is basically just cycles, audio cycles. So if you think about sound as a waveform, it's just different cycles. So at the top end, you've got more, and it's higher. At the low end, you have fewer cycles, and so it's lower. Then you have this idea of bands, frequency bands. Now, there are all different kinds of EQs. Some have one band, some have more than that, some might have 3 or 4 or even 6 or 7. All a band is just a frequency grouping, and it is just how many areas of the frequency can you make changes? How many different points can you make changes? Right now, I've got 4 bands, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a 4-band EQ right now. If I were to add other areas, I could make it a 5 or a 6-band. That's just how this plugin works, this specific one in Logic. So that's what a band is, a frequency band. So that's important to understand. The other thing is you have something called the Q. Now, I know this can be confusing because I'm talking about EQs here, and it's like, okay, well, what is a Q? I know that confused me. Just think about the Q as being the width. So if you're making changes to your track, to your frequency, the Q is just how wide or narrow, and then you can see these are the Q numbers here. So how narrow or wide is your change going to be? How many frequencies is going to be captured by you making your changes? So that's Q. Then you have over here, in this specific one, I can just gain my entire track here. So add more gain to it to make it pop out a little more, or I can take some gain off. That's just a feature of this one. And that's what that is. So now, why do we EQ? It's important to EQ because what it does is you're essentially emphasizing or de-emphasizing certain frequencies, and that can change the sound dramatically. And if you emphasize frequencies in one track and then de-emphasize the same frequencies in another, that can make that one track stand out even more. I'll give you an example of how this this sounds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to just emphasize this one frequency. I'm going to start playing around. You can hear how it changes. So I've got my piano track here. Now I'm boosting. Cutting. Okay. So you get an idea of, okay, well that's what that is. That's EQing. That's just how you make changes, and it affects how the track sounds, whether it's a vocal, whether it's a guitar, a piano, or whatever it might be. If you fundamentally alter the frequencies and say, I want you to emphasize this frequency set more, then you're going to have a different sound.